You did it again. You were in the shower, or driving, or staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning, and it came back. That conversation from 3 years ago. That moment you said the wrong thing. That decision you wish you could undo. You replayed it. You rewound it. You gave yourself better lines and imagined a different ending. And then nothing had changed. Your brain just spent 20 minutes in the past. And here's the strange part. It does this on purpose. Not because something is wrong with you. Your brain replays the past because, for most of human history, that was the single most important thing it could do to keep you alive. Psychologists call it rumination. The word comes from the Latin for what a cow does when it re-chews its food. Bringing it back up, grinding it down, extracting every last bit of value. Your brain does the same thing with experience. It pulls something that happened back into conscious awareness and runs it through again, searching for something it hasn't found yet. In 2013, researchers at the University of Liverpool, led by Peter Kinderman, found that the brain treats an unresolved social or emotional event the same way it treats an unfinished task. It keeps the file open, because somewhere deep in your neural architecture, an unresolved moment is still a threat. Your ancestors couldn't afford to forget their mistakes. If you misread a rival's expression, you might lose your place in the group. If you misjudged a predator's distance, you didn't get a second chance. The brain that survived was the brain that obsessively reviewed what went wrong and extracted a lesson precise enough to prevent it from happening again. That brain is your brain, right now, running ancient software on a modern problem. Your brain also has a negativity bias, a term studied extensively by psychologist Rick Hanson, who describes the brain as being like Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. The cost of forgetting a threat was always higher than the cost of forgetting a gift, so your brain holds the bad stuff tighter. It stamps it, do not delete, and then it brings it back when you're quiet enough to pay attention. The shower, the drive, the dark ceiling at 2 a.m. These are the moments when your external input drops low enough for your brain's default mode network to take over. Neuroscientists at Washington University identified this network in the early 2000s. It activates not when you're focused, but when you're not. And what does it do with that downtime? It runs the unsolved files. It revisits the unresolved moments. It tries, again, to close the loop. The memories that come back most often aren't the most painful ones. They're the most socially complex. A betrayal, a moment of public embarrassment, a look you still can't interpret. Your brain is a social prediction machine. Every unresolved interaction is data it hasn't finished processing. There's a concept in cognitive behavioral therapy called the completion tendency. Psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik first documented it in the 1920s when she noticed that waiters remembered orders they hadn't yet delivered and forgot the ones they had. The incomplete task stayed alive in memory. The finished one faded. Your most stubborn memories are the ones that never got a clean ending. The conversation that was cut short, the apology never given, the moment that just stopped without resolution. Your brain flags these as incomplete and keeps surfacing them, not out of empathy, but out of a genuine biological drive to finish what it started. The replay itself isn't the problem. The problem is what happens inside it. Most people return to a painful memory as the person who was hurt. They step back into that body. They feel the heat in the chest again. And the loop tightens instead of loosening. Psychologist Ethan Cross at the University of Michigan has studied what he calls self-distancing, replaying a memory from a slight remove, as if watching it happen to someone else. Research found that this single shift dramatically reduced the emotional intensity of recalled experiences and reduced how often the same memory returned. You don't need to erase the memory. You don't need to win the argument in your head. You need to watch it from far enough away that your brain can finish its analysis without flooding you with the same fear and shame that made the moment hard in the first place. Tonight, when the quiet comes and the replay starts, when that moment resurfaces for what feels like the 100th time, remember what it actually is. It isn't weakness. It's an ancient system doing exactly what kept your ancestors alive. Your brain, still loyal after all this time, trying to protect you from something it isn't sure is over yet. The question isn't how to make it stop. The question is how to finally let it finish.